Greetings for the day. My name is Mohammed Rahmat Ali. Welcome to another session of digital forensics. In the previous class, we studied about the introduction of digital forensics, what digital forensics is all about, why we require digital forensics, and what is the need of digital forensics, and which part of our life is being applicable with digital forensics. And also, we have seen the basic parts of what digital forensics is and how it is being used in computer science engineering. Now, in today's session, we're going to see about the basic parts and the first part of digital forensics in terms of academics. The first unit we are going to see, in which we are going to study about the computer forensic fundamentals and the benefits of forensics. This is the part that we'll be covering in today's session, and most probably we'll be discussing about the concepts of forensics and why forensic came into existence, what was the need, and how did forensics has changed the computer industry or changed the security industry. Moving towards the first thing, the term definition of forensics is or of used in court of law. In the sense, the term forensics is basically been used, like I have told in the previous session also. It is the basic thing in terms of admissible, the things that are being admissible in terms of code. Those particular things are being taken into consideration for forensics. Now, coming toward computer forensic, digital forensic, network forensic, mobile forensics, or you can say cloud forensics, or any other things, forensics is that particular part of computer science in which the things that need to be admissible in court of law. That's the basic thing, or the basic thing that you need to remember. Now, coming towards computer and electronic device, so and so forth definition in terms of computers. Now, what is actually computer forensics? For example, forensic is a different term and computer is a different term, but when they are been together, it means a very different thing. Similar way, the way we call it as cloud and computing. Cloud is totally a different thing if at all we are using a single term, and computing is a total different thing. Cloud is something which we generalize as rain clouds or XYZ type of things, whereas computing is a concept of executing a particular task or executing some particular thing to get a proper result. Whereas if at all we club cloud and computing, it means a very different thing. Cloud computing is a concept in which we are storing data, we are accessing information, we are doing some XYZ type of things. Whereas cloud and computing are two different terms. If at all we are them clubbed together, they means a very different thing. In a similar way, computer is a different term, forensic is a different term. When they are being clubbed together, it means a very different thing. Now, what are the things that it means? It means computer forensics is the process of methodologically examining computer media, for example, hard disk sets, and the tapes and etc. Tapes in the sense the different type of media that we will be using in terms of hard disk, pen drive, or you can say local area network, wide area network, or in terms of cloud, in terms of virtualization, XYZ type of things. Now, this particular process is examining those particular aspects, how that particular thing came into existence, or how that particular thing can be examined, how it was been intruded, what are the method that was been used to intrude those particular things, which files got corrupted, which files got been viewed, which files were been copied. These are different types of things that we will be examining. Examining will be done basically in two ways. The first one is a physical examination, second one is the what we call as virtual examination, which we will be taking the image or we will be examining the individual files. Second point, in another words, computer forensics is a collection, preservation, analysis, and presentation of computer related evidence. This point is very, very, very important. Remember this particular thing not only in terms of your subject, but in terms of your interview question also. These are the different path, or you can the different ways in which you will be what you call as examining or collecting the information. The first one is collection of evidence, second one is preservation of evidence, third one is analysis, fourth one is the presentation of the related evidence. So sometimes it is been considered as four ways, sometimes it is been considered as five paths. It depends on the way how we are collecting the information. Either it is in terms of, you can say 4 steps, or we can say 5 steps: collection, preservation, analysis, and presentation of the things. So this step by step process is very important in terms of computer forensics. Now what do you mean by collection? Collection is a process of getting the information from the device or getting the information from the crime scene. Now collection of evidences means a lot. Collection of evidence in the sense which information to be taken into consideration, which part of information should be trimmed, or which part of evidence should not be collected, or which part of data should not be included in our collection mechanism. Second one is in terms of preservation. Preservation in the sense in terms of preserving the data, the moment we have collected the information, I intentional, or you can say it is the basic practice that is been done. The first one is the hash code of that particular data is been taken. Second one is a copy of that particular data should be submitted to the court of law. Later on we will be evaluating the evidence that's a very different thing, but the moment we have collected the information, it should be preserved in terms of taking a hash value, preserved in terms of submitting those particular evidences or submitting those particular data into court of law, or making duplicate copies to be sent to different locations or to be sent on different stations for investigating part. Third one is in terms of analysis. We can say the analysis of data combines of different aspects in terms of physical aspect, in terms of what you call as built aspect, in terms of different things. Next is with reference to the presentation of data. After we have analyzed the things, we will be presenting those particular data in front of the court. The data that was been sent at the first stage while we were collecting the information, and the data that we are presenting now, when we are presenting the data, the hash value should be same. This is very important in terms of admissibility to the court. This is very important. The hash value should not get changed. Why? Because if the hash value is being changed, we consider, or the court of law consider, that that particular evidence was being tampered, or it was being misused, or it was being changed in any part of the analysis or investigative part. Third point is with reference to the computer forensics, also referred to as a computer forensic analysis, electronic discovery, electronic evidence discovery, digital discovery or data discovery, computer analysis and computer examination. These are different terms which has been referred to the computer forensics, or you can say digital forensics, or you can say any part. So these are different terms or different things that will be used as synonyms, or you can say referred elements to computer forensics. Next is with reference to the next point refers to computer evidence can be useful in criminal cases, civil disputes and human resource or employment proceedings. Now what do you mean by this? This is in the sense, for example, taken a small example wherein I have sent you a file by an email. I have sent you a file by an email in which I have sent you an offer letter. The moment you have downloaded that particular offer letter, I have also included a small malware attached to that particular offer letter. The moment it gets installed to your system, I'll be getting access to your device, or that particular malware will send me the data in terms of what is been processed in your system. Now to get all this information, we'll be using computer forensics. Second example, a very good example that we can use is the usage of email addresses within the organization or outside the organization. For instance, I am working for an XYZ company. I will be having an email address of XYZ company naming abc@xyz.com. Now that XYZ company email address can be used within that particular domain only, or it can be used outside that particular domain. Second example, I can say I have another email address by the name abc@gmail.com. Now abc@xyz.com and abc@gmail.com, these are two different email addresses that we are using, whereas Gmail can be used within Gmail, and the Gmail can also send emails to yahoo.com, rediffmail.com or XYZ type of things, whereas abc@xyz.com can only send and receive emails from XYZ domain only. If at all, if any, in case that XYZ domain is being used to send any email outside that XYZ domain to Gmail, Yahoo, Rediff or XYZ type of a thing, then at that instance it will be very much useful for us to analyze the evidence, to analyze those particular things. So this is the basic things in terms of computer forensics. Now, what are the fundamentals of computer forensics? The first one is computer forensics involves the activities in collecting, processing, preserving, analyzing, and presenting the computer related evidence in court of law or in evidence in court of criminal prosecution or civil litigation. What are the things that I have studied in the previous slides? Same thing has been repeated. That is one of the fundamentals of computer forensics. Second is in terms of the process of preservation, identification, extraction, and documentation of computer evidence which can be used by court of law. Now, what do you mean by this? This part is very important. Like I have told you, the previous four or five steps that in which we will be using those particular things. This is also a part of it, a sub part of it, in which we will be identifying the files. In the sense, after we are doing investigation, which file was being what you call as used as a malware, or which file was being used as target, or which of the file was being used as a source to target your network or system. First one is identification. Second one is the extraction of information, in the sense what type of information was been extracted using that particular file. Extracted in the sense that file on your system, what is the thing that it has happened, or what are the different things that is been done by that particular file, or that particular file has collected which type of information and has sent through the network to the source computer. That also need to be taken into consideration in terms of extraction. Third and the last one is the documentation of computer evidence. This part is very important. If at all we are not doing any of the documentation part, then what are the things that we have done until now will not be taken into consideration. Documentation of computer evidence, in the sense it is a step-by-step process. What was been taken into consideration, what type of test was been done, what was the actual result, what was the expected result, what was the result it was producing, and why did it produce that particular result with these particular circumstances, and what are the result that it was producing with other type of inputs and circumstances. So this all things should be documented very well for presenting in terms of court of law. It can be a criminal what you call as prosecution, or it can be a civil or public litigation. Next one is in terms of computer forensic services. What are the different services that it performs or that it gives? First one is computer forensic professional should be able to successfully perform complex evidence recovery procedures with the skills and expertise that lends credibility to your case. This is very important. I'll give you a small example in terms of understanding this particular thing in a better way. You went to a doctor. You said him that I am having cold and fever. You said that you are having cold and fever. Now the doctor will be giving the medications according to cold and fever. You did not mention cough as one of the inputs to that particular doctor, but still doctor as a precautionary measure will give you some of the medicines to the cough also. In second case, if at all we go to a doctor saying that I have specifically said that I have cough, then the doctor will only be giving me the medications specifically related to that particular cough. In a sense, in a similar way, when we are collecting the evidences, when we are analyzing those particular details, the professional who is identifying those particular things should know all of the aspect of this particular evidence, how the evidence should be inspected, what are the things that need to be taken into consideration, which type of investigation should be performed on which type of evidence, and what is the credibility of the evidence that we are taking into consideration. This all things should be taken into consideration while we are collecting the evidences and when we are examining those particular evidences. Second point, it says, for example, they should be able to perform the following services. What are the following services? The first one is with related to the data seizure. Now, what do you mean by the data seizure? Data seizure in the sense how, which, when, where, and which data to be taken into consideration. These all things should be taken in, or these all things should be very much well known to that particular investigator. Data seizure in the sense to which extent we can go to collect that particular data, or to which extent we can go to gather that particular data. For this, I'll give you a small example. For instance, my house or your house or any of the house is on fire. In the sense, room number 101 is on fire, So what are the basic things that need to be taken into consideration? I should see that room number 100 and room number 102 is been evacuated first. Then from these two particular rooms, some of the precautionary measures, some of the things should be done so that the fire should get down from room number 101. So in the sense, I should know the seizure way which to be taken into consideration. Room number 100 and room number 102. This is the extent I can go to gather data from room number 101. In a similar way, when we are investigating or when we are capturing the data, we should be able to know which memory part I am taking into consideration, why I am taking that particular memory segment or sector into consideration to seize that data, and why it is important to take that particular part only to investigate those particular things. In some cases, what happens is, like, the malware will be residing at XYZ place and the action will be taken on ABC part. Now taking ABC into part will not resolve the problem. I should be able to know why XYZ and where XYZ is. After I get the location of XYZ, then only ABCB can be taken into consideration. ABCB can be taken into consideration. This is all about data seizure. We are going to see more about data seizure in the coming upcoming sessions, but in today's session we will be seeing only these particular parts of computer forensic services and XYZ type of things. I hope you have understood something in today's session. If at all, if you have any doubt, you can write it down in the comment section. I'll try to resolve those particular things. Thank you for listening today. See you all in the next class.